Hi everyone, it's Keren here and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a new video in the series Personal Art Diaries. I originally called it Personal Diaries, but I think Personal Art Diaries or Personal Craft Diaries, because I specifically want to focus on art, crafting, and our community. It's really important to talk about certain issues that most people don't want to talk about, and that's what this Personal Art Diaries is going to be focusing on. I don't know if you watched my first one. It had to do with how I was able to deal with the repercussions of stopping to do scrapbooking and card making and just focusing on art, journaling, and mixed media, and how I felt about that, and kind of help people that if they want to kind of focus on one genre of their creative process, that they don't feel afraid to do it, even if there is consequences to some of the decisions that you make. Today I want to talk about a different one, and I actually recently put this in my Facebook group. I have a new Facebook group called Keren, Tamir and Friends Creative Space, and I would love for you to join. So I will put that link in the description area below. And I asked this question to the members of my group to see what kind of topics they would like to hear about, what kind of personal topics that most people do not talk about in our community, in our creative community. And quite a few suggestions came in, and I'm going to be addressing one of them, which was suggested by Dana. So what she's asked about is, so I'll just read it out, so make sure that I get the wording correctly, and then I'll talk a little bit about that. She spoke about arting and crafting through the emotions, including sadness and pain, how to motivate and how to begin. So that's a really good one, Dana. And why I say this, because and I'm sure everybody else have gone through something sad or painful that they've had to deal with in their lives. I mean, I don't know one person, whether it's in our community or in my personal life, that has not gone through something painful. And most of the time, we see everybody around us and we think they're all happy, and it's really hard when you're seeing somebody else happy, how to deal with that when you're internally sad for whatever reason. And I want to kind of address that because I've seen over the years, I've met so many people online and everybody's supporting each other. And I've seen so many people leave this community because something happened to them that they felt like they couldn't create anymore or couldn't stay in the community because they didn't feel welcome, because they didn't feel like they could relate to everyone else or to be supported in that sense. And some of them do stay. So over the years, some of the things that I've seen people leave for is a loss of a spouse or a child, or a loss of somebody that is really important to them. The second thing is like a type of illness, an illness that sometimes, I don't even like to mention the C word, but even other illnesses like MS and things, and things that truthfully are really hard to deal with. And I've gone through enough things in my life. Thank God I haven't lost somebody that has put me in that situation, but I have gone through some major health issues, maybe not as major as other people that have had to leave the community or have had to stop creating for whatever reason. So I know there's two aspects of this. So there is people that have lost somebody very dear to them, and for whatever reason, whether they couldn't create anymore because the pain was too big, or because they had to now become their main supporter of their family and this hobby kind of took a second stand. Or if somebody was really ill, there's people that I wonder where they've been, and I've tried communicating and asking them, but they're very private and they don't want to talk about that, and they feel that art cannot help them at the moment, or they feel that their pain is too much that they cannot create. And that's what I think Dana was asking about, like, how do you use art to come out of those painful situations, painful moments, sad moments? And as I said, I've been through this. I've been depressed before, I've been sad before, I've been happy before, I've had major illness to deal with. And when it's a physical illness, things like MS, because I have a dear friend who has that and was not able to continue crafting, and only now, after a lot of healing and working with herself, she's able to come back. And for me, for example, I've struggled with arthritis for most of my life, almost since I was 18 years old. So I found that I find that the physical pain is just as hard as the emotional, sad pain to do art. So physically, it's hard for you to do art because you can't move your hands, because you can't do certain things. And that is something that I've had to overcome over the years. And I do take a lot of vitamins and a lot of things, but I'm not going to be talking about the physical one because that's something that unfortunately there's not much people can do. They can take medications and things like that, but the emotional one is the one that I really want to talk about, because there's so many people suffering for whatever reason, whether it's having something, not having something, lost love, not being loved, losing somebody dear to them. Even money issues are very stressful for certain people, or because they cannot buy let's say the products that they can, and makes them sad and depressed. So there's so many things that can cause sadness, anxiety, and how do we deal with this? So I cannot speak for everyone else, and I would love to hear your comments below on how you've dealt with it, but I can only tell you from my personal experience how I was able to deal with some of it. So there's a few things that helped me over the years. One of them is having, it might be silly, but it's having deadlines. And I found that I'm the type of person who doesn't like disappointing others, so I was on a lot of design teams. And even though I was going through stuff, surgeries and medical issues and many things like that, that I actually never shared publicly because I didn't want to burden people with my problems. I had my circle of friends and family that supported me here, so I just continued going, and you didn't even know about it. And this has been going in the past, at least in the past 5 years, that I've had on and off things, but deadlines, for design team deadlines, always helped me because I didn't want to disappoint the design team or the people that sent me the products. So I would push myself through it as long as I was physically able. Even if I was a little bit sad, I would just create, and that would help me actually release my emotions, because creating kind of puts me in a hypnotized stage. I don't know how to explain hypnosis. According to my friend Vered, who's an amazing coach, who is an amazing life coach, she says the hypnosis is just a form of relaxation, and that we go into a state of hypnosis throughout the whole day. Before we go to sleep, when we're driving in the car, sometimes you realize that you're kind of going in that hypnotic state where you're driving and you don't even realize where you're reaching. So art does that for me. It kind of puts me in that relaxed stage that I just don't have to think of anything that makes me anxious. So forcing myself almost to sit down on my table, which is the second point that helped me, is knowing that if I had deadlines, then I would just sit myself down and create. So it was a catch-22, because you don't want to sit, you're feeling so down that all you want to do is, let's say, watch TV, read a book, just do nothing, and having to push yourself to sit down to create because you know creating helps, but you don't want to, right? So it's kind of like a vicious circle. But I really found that when I actually said to myself, okay, go sit down in your room and stare at your stuff, even if you're not creating anything. Many times I walked away after a while, but many times I ended up creating, and some of those were one of the best creations I've ever done. The third thing that helped me the most was art journaling. And this is one of the reasons why I talk so much about art journaling. It really helped me release my emotions. And I have quite a few videos specifically on that, how art journaling has helped me release my emotions. I call it emotional art journaling, and you can look at those videos on my YouTube channel. Just search emotional art journaling. And what I found is that through that page, through creating that page, I was able to release all those emotions that I felt inside of me, to the point that by the time I finished that page, there was a huge stone that kind of lifted itself out of me. And I just felt so relieved. It didn't mean that after that I created every day or I continued to create. As you saw this past year, I actually did not create for almost 8 months. Even though here and there was like a light bulb moment that I would create these really cool pages and release my emotions. And I thought, oh, this is it. I am back into it. And then I wasn't. So it's okay that even if you're going through something sad and you're going to create that one page that is amazing to release your emotions, doesn't mean it's going to cure you. It means that you're just on the journey to healing. And that's the important thing to remember. You want to be on the journey to healing. Healing is a process. It's not just a destination. All of us want to feel happy. All of us want to feel great. But in order to get there, it's not just one thing that's going to solve it. It's a few things together that help you get there. Another thing that helped me a lot is talking to my friends in this community. Yes, I have my family and I have my outside of this community friends, like friends from high school, friends that I've met over the years, and it helps me to talk to them, but they cannot really relate to what I'm saying. They cannot relate to the art community, to the creative community. And I made so many amazing friendships over the past, I don't know how long I've been doing this, 10 years in online. I've made so many amazing friendships that those friendships over the years, they have changed because some people have quit. But over the years, I was able to make such amazing friendships that those people have helped me online. Basically, we chat with each other. A lot of us feel the same frustrations and the same sadness. Some of us have personal things that we chat about, and we help each other that way, whether it's on Facebook Messenger, on texting. You know, there's people from all over the world that I keep in touch with and help me so much throughout this journey. So having that support of somebody that can empathize with you or sympathize with you because they actually understand what you've been through, because anybody can try to put themselves in our shoes, but they don't really know how we feel. And there are people, yes, there are people who have left our community because they thought that there's just no way out, whatever happened to them, and sometimes it's personal and nobody wants to talk about it. And it's something that I don't push. I don't ask somebody unless they tell me what they're going through. And feel free if you want to share something with me and you want advice. I'm always there for you on Facebook, Instagram. Just go ahead and message me, or on my email, which is linked, I think, on YouTube. And many people are suffering. You wouldn't believe how many. But for those people that have left the community for whatever reason, that couldn't use the creative process to heal, and I know some of them have because they've told me about it, and that's okay as well. Just accept that sometimes that's our journey, to just not use art to heal, but sometimes it's a journey to use art to heal, and it depends on our soul and what the journey is, that's what's going to happen. So don't be afraid to talk to somebody. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to just force yourself to sit down. Yes, I say force because the last thing we want to do sometimes is just sit at our craft desk, at our art desk, and create. We don't want to do that because we're just feeling like crap, and we don't want to do that. So those are the few things that have helped me so much. And I'm curious what kind of things have helped you. Oh, and I want to touch on one more that has helped me. And that is realizing what I love to do. So a lot of things, and this was my huge journey this year where I had to stop doing stuff that was making me unhappy creatively. And that took a huge weight out of my heart, because when I stopped creating cards and stopping scrapbooking, which was the scrapbooking was one of the hardest things for me because I've been doing this for so long, for 17 years. it kind of took away that pressure that I felt, and that released that anxiety that I was feeling and that sadness that I was feeling. And starting in this new year, as you can see, back into the swing of things, but I'm back on my own terms. So find your own terms, find people to talk to, try art journaling, try being messy and creating art just for fun. Try creating art because you love it, not because you have to. And just literally sit yourself down and do something about it. I hope this wasn't too long. I really try to kind of concise this, but sometimes I get very emotional about this topic because it's so dear to my heart, and I've seen so many people suffer from it. So I hope you can get something out of it. I don't want to say hope you enjoy this because it's not really an enjoyable topic to talk about, but I hope that you got something out of it. And please, I really beg of you, share this with your friends. Share it on social media. So many people are suffering and need to hear this. I beg of you, please share. I know it's hard sometimes to want to share other people's videos, and I appreciate when you do and support me that way, but it's not only about supporting me, you're basically supporting other people who are suffering, and that's what's the most important thing. Thank you so much, everyone, and have an amazing day. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Bye, everyone.